People who've actually slept with their step sibling or sibling. How did it happen and how was your relationship affected? My older brother dated our older stepsister. He was 15-16, she was 30-32. My mum was livid about it. Her dad pretended it wasn't happening. She was a bit of a sugar mama. Bought him lots of nice stuff. Flew him places. She took him to parties and did drugs with etc. Slept with him. My mum thinks she dated my brother just to spite her. I don't know how valid that is. Wouldn't surprise me. But my mum was also a piece of work. And to get back at her and her husband for allowing it, she slept with her stepson. Don't worry. This one's prob's gonna get buried underneath joke replies, but I accidentally boned my half sister while we were in high school. Basically we had never known each other beforehand and we met in high school. She confessed that she had feelings for me and we started dating. About 1 year in we started having sex. Fast forward 2 years and we graduate. Then she introduces me to her parents and there I meet my father, who I had only known from photos. Since he and my mum got divorced when I was born. That's when I found out my then girlfriend was my half sister. I had a friend in high school that dated this girl for like 6 months before their parents decided to randomly get married. They, the parents, only dated for like a month. A few months later he is trying to set me up with his sister and bragging that she gives good head. It was very weird. Not me but my close family. My grandmother had 3 husbands. 4 children with all different dads. My mother's dad was sexually abusive and had been sleeping with my aunt, mom's older sister. They continued that relationship for years. My grandma divorced him and he married my aunt. So my aunt was also step-grandma and my mother's dad was also uncle. When he finally died I remember my mother saying I don't want to go to his funeral but I really think I should be there to support my stepmom. That woman has always had a warped sense of humor. I love it. What did I just read? My Phil dated his stepdaughter first, then when they broke up he met and eventually married her mom. Needless to say it is one of my wife's family's more awkward stories. Dad dated a woman. He dated a lot of women so it became normal. She had a daughter. We got drunk at a party. Hooked up. Real boy meets world. Then they got married. And that's when we cut it out. Then they got divorced. And I'm still not boning her anymore. Mom dated a guy. Guy had a son same age as me. We hated our parents and slept together. Had a fun time. Broke up due to him using drugs and me not dealing with it. Both are married, to other people, and happy. We don't talk even though we see each other at family gatherings after our parents got married. Edit to clarify. He was on drugs for years. Lied to me over and over that he was clean and he wasn't. I was always trying to support him but he just didn't want to clean up yet. He did clean up for his wife. Ask me after quarantine. Ah yes. Only a short few days into quarantines and we have already arrived here. Slept with my former sister-in-law. Is that close enough? How did it happen? She hated my ex-wife, her sister. My ex-wife cheated on me. We were drinking together about 6 months after it ended and she said you should meet to get even. Relationship didn't at all change. We just know each other a little better than we used to. Both dating others now and it's like it never happened. Well. This blew up. No, the ex doesn't know. She'd kill both of us. Not even joking. I've already started pre-gaming so if people could start sharing stories before I run out of lube. No serious tag. That's the best part. My dad's brother married my mom's sister. My parents somehow didn't really meet until several months after the wedding. My cousins and I are as close to incest as it gets without actually crossing blood relatives. Just for fun. My siblings have a different dad than me so I actually look more related to those cousins than I do my own siblings. I just try to not explain that to people but it definitely is weird when it gets out. Edit. I should explain it's only weird because people get confused. Until they figure out it's just two sisters married two brothers. My parents are divorced now anyway, so it rarely comes up. More if we have a get together and a newcomer mentions it's funny I look like my cousins and my siblings and I don't look related pretty much. Just joined Reddit and one of the first things I've seen is this. Whoa. Edit. Holy. I haven't been on the site for more than 2 days but here I am. Thanks for the charm and silver things. Our parents met at our wedding. Mom was a widow. My father-in-law divorced. So we weren't step-siblings when we got married. But it still freaks people out. Confused the hell out of our kids. Especially when I'd beg them to call me auntie when we went into stores. They were the devil's own in stores. My girlfriends, from 13-21, uncle hooked up and married my mother, in 2 months from meeting, when we were 17. We were both ficking it off. Yes, we did break up for about 7 months because every time we went anywhere people were giving us for being kissing cousins. We got back together and married at 19 but moved and went NC with them until our daughter was born. They had divorced by then anyways. It was weird. She just kept bending over a lot and saying step brother and asking me to help her with really easy stuff. Then I swear I blinked and she was bouncing on my cock yelling this is wrong but I love it. If people found out you slept with your step sibling you would get some stares. Do half sisters count? It was the bottom half. If that makes a difference. My sister and I are both sex workers. There have been numerous occasions when we've tag teamed a client. We never tell them. And I'm not really sure why. Because they'd probably pay more for that. Anyway. It's always the most hilarious thing ever and we both have to try really hard to not laugh. To be clear. She and I don't have any contact during these sessions. Sorry if that disappoints anyone. Usually one of us with put out tits in a dude's face while the other takes care of him downstairs. Simple. I lost my virginity to my third cousin by blood. Had no idea we were related until 6 months into the relationship. Open to questions though but that's about the closest I can get to what OP asked. I hate that bitch now though. Exclamation point. My mom had a best friend. She died. Adopted her son who is older than me. I was 8. He was 18. And I idolized him. He took me shopping. Out to eat. And just hung W me like a brother. I lived W my father. My mom dies. We both grow up. Run into him when I was 19 and that was a fun weekend. Now I'm much older. We still talk but we never talk about it. All that free PRN hub time. Somebody was bound to ask this question. Obligatory not me. Or even quite step sibling. But still a fun story. One of my dad's best friends. Let's call him Rob. Was partially crazy. Admitted to a mental hospital briefly for running around town in tighty whities and trying to get into his ex-wife's house. I grew up around this guy. So it was great. He's dead now though. So the fun times are over. Anyways. Rob and his ex did have a daughter. Well. His brother and his bro's wife split at some point. And they have a son. Rob's nephew. One thing obviously leads to another and Rob and his ex-sister-in-law get together. And you guessed it. Get married. So now Rob's nephew is now also his stepson. And his daughter is also now stepdaughter to her aunt. Edit. I'm sticking with the nonsensical writing. Rob would appreciate it. I had a seizure trying to figure this out. My story is a bit different. My step cousin showed me her boobs one time. Me and her were chilling in my pool. Family wasn't there. She just asked if I wanted to see her boobs. I said sure. I think I was 14 and she was 13. Me and her have always been close and we can always talk to each other, which is awesome because we both have depression and anxiety, so we can have similar situations sometimes. I don't see how people can get upset or mad at you for sleeping with a step sibling. 1. You're not related. 2. If you're sleeping with each other then that means you have some attraction to them. 3. Combining 1 stroke 2, it's normal to be attracted to other people you are not related to. People be trippin'. It's not their fault their parents hooked up. I can already tell that this comment section is about to be mixed by the true stories and the memes. So people really are this bored during quarantine. Way too many branches on the family trees for me to keep up here. My cousin's stepbrother's mother-in-law's widowed uncle's wife's. I was gonna write something, but it's unrelated so. Well, my single mother moved in with a guy when my brother and I were 16/17. Mom never married him, but I guess he was a common law stepfather. My brother ended up married to his daughter and had 2 kids. Not a big deal as they weren't related, but still kinda odd at the time. If you listen closely. My cousin-in-law, adopted. African. We used to play mommy and daddy. And our games got serious real quick. We used to kiss. A lot. We were 8 or 9 at the time, and were just mimicking what we saw on TV. The whole family knew, but never really cared. They did make jokes about it during Christmas, when we were older. Our current relationship is awkward but pleasant. We get along well, but you can't undo some memories of having your entire family laugh to you. I didn't talk to her between the ages of 10 and 17. She's a year younger, because I watched Harold and Kumar go to White Castle and realized how weird it was to have a relationship inside a family. I slipped on a loose roller skirt and ended up naked in a 69 position with my sister. I was so horrified I immediately tried to get off. Didn't even see it coming. My ex slept with his cousin. Don't know how this relates to the post, but just wanted to be part of the conversation. Lost my virginity to my foster brother. We were both foster kids and his room was next to mine. We shared a bathroom. The foster parents found out and shipped him away, where he joined Jobs Corps. The foster mom tried to get him in trouble by telling my caseworker. Some detectives showed up to my school to ask if this was true, and I lied and said it wasn't. He was technically 18 and they were trying to pin statutory pay on him. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't going to let them ruin his entire life, so I just denied everything. Ran into him years after I aged out of foster care. I was, I think, 22. Back in 2012. We hung out for the day. By then I had 2 of my own children. Told him it was good I never had his babies. Made the meeting kind of awkward. I'm kind of an awkward person, so it gave me enough credit hours to graduate from the University of Alabama. I'll save you guys some time with this one. He had an Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell and he plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table. An ex-girlfriend of mine told me she was abused as a little girl. She never told me much of the details until one night we were in a deep conversation during pillow talk. She basically confused me, while tearing up, how she had basically been forced to sleep with her brother by some men that her mom dated. Made them do sexual acts on each other. Hey brother was pretty ed up from it. I later met her mom and never wanted to strangle someone so much. Hey mom was a recovering addict, and while her daughter forgave her, I couldn't stomach to look at her, and it always made me queasy when I saw her brother. It was years of sexual abuse and it literally ate up my life. I don't talk to him and have made it clear to my entire family that I don't even want to hear his name in conversation. Huge family drama ongoing years later. I hope he does an awful death and burns in hell. Former child welfare worker here. It ends very poorly. Additionally, it's a ton of paperwork for me. So think about that before you ruin family game night. Alright, so my stepbrothers had their first cousin when she stayed with us for a week during her mom having to go out of town for work. By the end of the week we had all had our turns. All I did was kiss her. I was like 11, she was 14, and my stepbrothers' age at the time were 15, 14 and 12. They all let her. I watched. I hadn't hit puberty quite yet and didn't know what to do with it, but she offered, and my mom and stepdad have been together since I was 9, so I still see her at family events, and I was gonna her when I was around 17 before I got in a serious relationship, because the truth is I wasn't related to her, but there, and it's over and done with. I hope that woman is okay. Holy moly. Not me. But a girl I started seeing recently. Rumor has it her and her brother are oddly close. I just found this out from somebody who grew up in her town. Apparently they always seemed more like a couple than siblings. She describes her brother as her best friend, but his meddling and overall nosiness about our relationship has more of an ex-BF feel to it than protective brother. To use a metaphor of a trial. This source assured me they knew of multiple people who would testify to the creepiness of their relationship with specific instances. Obviously I can't ask her if she used to her brother. But after hearing that it was a pretty widespread rumor. It's definitely concerning. She got stuck in the washing machine. And I saw the perfect opportunity. I've slept with my blood-related cousin. We've always been very close and had been fooling around sexually all throughout our childhood. Culminating in full-blown sex in our early 20s. Since our relationship was always sexual, it didn't affect things negatively. I've actually wanted to see a therapist about it for a while now. Not because either one of us isn't comfortable with it. It's more that I'm genuinely curious why we're so comfortable with it. Especially since the concept of incest grosses me the hell out in any other context. It'd also be nice to try and remember how it all started. We were very young when we began exploring each other. When I was in high school, my parents went on a cruise for their anniversary and let me stay home. When they came back, they announced that they had met another couple on the cruise and had fallen in love with each other's spouses. They all got divorced. My mom and dad got remarried with the husband and wife, respectively. And then I find out that my step-parents had a son. And we're all going to live in the same house together. I was pretty understandably ed at the time and my step-brother was kind of an ass to me. But then one day I wake up to the dude I'm kissing me. Long story short, there was a load of drama and on again off again bull. A big scare where we found out my mom and his dad had a one night stand like 16 years prior and thought we might be blood related. We're not. But we finally figured out how to make it work. Married for 20 years. Okay, what? I had sex with my stepladder. Never knew my real ladder. PRN companies looking for new plot. Hey. The church would like to know your location. My aunt's second husband ed her 16-year-old daughter from first husband. Honestly not sure about details. It was a dark family secret my mom told me sometime before she died. This was like 32 years ago. They are still married and apparently finally talked about it 15 years after the fact. Family is ed up. I would have titled this post, "Horny Redditors of Reddit. What is the SZSX story you are willing to share in glorified detail?" My little sister often climbed into my bed when she was a toddler. Then, on my 7th birthday, she woke me up by peeing on me. That what you're looking for? My dad started dating my mom's sister after my mom died. They live together now, so basically, my cousins are also my step siblings and I will be sleeping with none of them. Deaths need serious tag. Well, it all started when I broke both my arms. You're the best big brother ever. NGL, I'm excited to read this thread. Username LMAO. I had sex with a friend of mine and then less than 24 hours later my brother did. So that was awkward for a while. Eskimo brothers for realsies. I knew a guy. He and his stepsister didn't grow up together. They didn't see one another often at family events. As he described it, their encounters got progressively more flirty. They mutually decided to go for it. She was eager for him and he was too. He struggled over it. Our group of friends gave him a lot of as we itemized the cons. He vacillated between repulsion and desire, and wasn't sure what he would ultimately do. Within a few days he texted us a picture of stepsister written in lipstick on a female's bare chest. He freaked out after, and felt really ashamed. Within a week they were at the same family party and she jumped on him in the bathroom. He had a pretty serious panic attack and went on some meds. Xanax. It wasn't all that serious. He settled down after they talked and decided never to do it or talk about it again. And he shared his Xanax. That was fun. Help me, big bro. I am sleeping with my brother-in-law's sister. We've had 2 kids. Didn't think I would ever do it. But I'm leaving this subreddit. When every top question boils down to sex. You know it's bad. Thank you for letting us know. I would have been worried sick wondering where you went. She and I had a one-night stand. Didn't know she was my stepsister until I found out that my father secretly got married to her mother. We never mentioned it again. I don't have stepsisters. But I have a full sister who is 2 years younger. About 10 years ago when my husband was overseas, I was involved in a 3-way with her and her then boyfriend, now husband. We were at her place and we had been drinking. And feeling uninhibited. I took off my clothes in her living room and said I was going to her bedroom and who wanted to join me. They both came in shortly afterward. Fully naked. She and I took turns with him while the other one watched. The sex was amazing and the experience in the moment was mind-blowing. But I had horrible guilt the next day and it is still awkward when I see him. This was during a period where I had some one-night stands while my hub was away. I eventually confessed those to him. We went to counseling, but I have never told him about the 3-way, and I never will. Casey? Can I just say what arseholes Wiles parents are? There's a startling amount of stories of parents marrying their kids' so's parent. Like WTF. SWETHOMEALABAMA. My ex did this with her brother. They insisted they didn't, but unfortunately my friend discovered texts between the brother, her BF at the time, and the sister, my GF at the time, and showed me. I didn't call them out for it. Just dumped the girl. My friend unfortunately gossiped to everyone at work about it. They disappeared shortly after. Quitting their job at the call center we all worked at, and I haven't heard from them since. I have seen the brother occasionally on social media but otherwise have no idea what became of them. Holy. You'll need Jesus. Did with my older brother. I was using tons of drugs and meds at the time. He had a history of trying something nasty to me throughout the years. And I wasn't in my best judgments and actions. First time was kind of fun and I don't remember most what happened. He would touch me all the time. Grab me and straightforward attacking me. One day I woke up with him on top of me and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm sorry that happened to you. Are you doing okay now? Oh hell. Well. After I pushed a kid out of a tower window. Things went downhill. I got my hand chopped off. It's okay. I have a gold one now. My kids are all dead. And some crazy chick is besieging my home with a dragon.